Session, ladies and gentlemen, is a special address on the topic innovations in cross-border payments. May I request all of you to please take your seats. Thank you. Our next session for the day, ladies and gentlemen, is Innovations in Cross-Border Payments. It's a special address which will be given to us by Mr. Mehdi Manaa, who is the CEO, Buna Arab Monetary Fund, the Regional Payments Clearing and Settlements System. Please welcome Mr. Mehdi Manaa on the dais, please. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm very happy to be with you today, and I would like to thank very much our partner, NPCI, the National Payment Company of India, for the invitation to be with you today and to share with you some thoughts. First, maybe a small introduction about Buna, and then some thoughts on how we can contribute to create a more fertile and more productive space for innovation. What is Buna? Maybe some of you hear about it for the first time. Before being operated by an independent organization that I have the pleasure and honor of managing, Buna is first of all an initiative of the central bank. It has been initiated by the Council of Arab Central Bank and Monetary Authorities governors, and it was with the idea of creating a payment system that would support and the integration between the different Arab countries by empowering their economies and favoring or promoting the use of the national currencies. That had also an international dimension or a global dimension from the beginning in its inception, because it did not been conceived to be focused only on the Arab region, but it had from the inception the aim of also building better rails between the Arab world and the rest of the world, and mainly the major trade partners of the Arab regions. One particular aspect of it, which is very keen to our heart, is also the financial inclusion dimension, which has also been part of the vision since the beginning. So that's Buna in terms of idea, in terms of inception. In terms of practicalities, Buna is, as I said, a payment system. It's a centralized payment platform. Its aim is of simplifying the process. So by getting within the same ecosystem the set of payers and payees, and to process the payment directly between them in the easiest possible ways. So that, of course, can be easy and can be efficient if it is facilitated by a different feature to secure the payment, to eliminate any credit risk, to provide a real-time dimension in the settlement process, and also to have the legal setup that is allowing to provide the certainty for the settlement. I'm referring here to the finality for the payment that are processed in Buna. So we ensure with our setup, again, immediacy of payment and the reduction of the chain between the payer and the payee. So, of course, when it comes to cross-border payment, as I said, Buna is focusing only on cross-border payment. One key aspect of it is the whole effort that is now being supported by the G20 to enhance cross-border payment in order to reduce the cost, enhance the speed, increase the visibility, and also facilitating the access. So these are the 4 deficiencies or areas for improvement that have been identified by the G20, which has started with the G20 presidency and has been followed up from one presidency to another. So we are looking forward to the Indian presidency that we expect it also to be very productive and providing tangible results at that level. Buna, with its simple model, is a strong contributor to that, because with the simplicity, again, with the centralization, with the elimination of friction that could exist, you see a traditional model, how it looks like today from bank to bank, relying on complex chains of intermediaries. All that is reduced to its maximum simplicity, with Buna. Again, processing payment directly between different actors without intermediaries and without any burden in terms of technicalities. So actually, Buna, although it has been initiated prior to the effort of the G20, we realized when discussing with them, when we exchange views with them, that we are meeting these different objectives and contributing to the 19 building blocks that they have identified. So if we try to enlarge a bit the ambitions and what Buna is trying to achieve, so I refer to financial inclusion. I also could mention, this is what's one of the most important objectives as well, is to enhance the level of compliance. Because when it comes to payment, in particular to cross-border payment, compliance is key. And if you want to deliver something efficient and reliable, and recognized by partners and by regulators, we have to be strong on compliance. So Buna had put that in the core of its design. So we are still probably one of the first payment system that has embedded all the compliance checks, AML, CTF, etc., in its own design, while normally it's more with the financial institutions. Interoperability, yes, this is very key. So again, this was part of the vision from the beginning, to be open to the rest of the globe and to strengthen the ties with the major partners. So interoperability was also part of the design since the beginning, and that, again, is being further supported by the G20 agenda these days. We had other ambitions. So when you have an efficient payment system, you can think about different use cases that could be supported by that. So supporting for trade finance, supporting security settlement or security or debt issuance, which is also now being more and more critical these days. And finally, also acting as a direct facilitator for innovation and the contributor to innovation by either innovating ourselves or providing a new space for innovation. So the good thing is that Buna is providing results on all these streams. So when it comes to the interoperability in particular, we have different discussion and different MOUs with strong partners. So NPCI is one of them. We have others being in discussion, but the same is being achieved on each and every element. So when it comes to the connection also with other continents, such as Africa, we have PAPS as partner. And when it comes to Europe, we have had in particular an experiment with Banca d'Italia. That was part of the G20 agenda under the Italian presidency. So they proposed to Buna to initiate an experiment to make sure that two instant payment systems could be interoperable between Europe and between the Arab world, and indeed we managed to process payment in less than 15 seconds cross-continent, cross-system, cross-currencies, with all the feature that would allow the delivery and the confirmation of the payment end-to-end with the whole loop. So what is good? What is good in terms of innovation and space for fintech, just to loop with this topic of this conference, is that all of this is new, and all of this is a space for innovation. So all these initiatives that we are taking here need support. So we are not the one building the whole solution end to end. We are again creating the space to provide innovation, to provide solutions. From time to time, we are compared to fintech, and I'm asked whether we are competing with fintechs or not. No, I don't see personally competition. So what I see is really this collaboration. The same question is being asked regarding Buna vis-à-vis the bank. Buna does not function without the banks. Buna does not function without solution providers. And what we are doing is, again, creating a space, creating a full large ecosystem that is not covering one country, but a large region, and also building bridges with other regions to create more space for efficient services and more space for innovation. So, of course, this innovation should have a name. Again, we are driven by our objective of simplifying the payment process and making it smooth and making it less costly. But, of course, this cannot be achieved without challengers and without the technology providers that are providing the right solution to the end users. So interoperability, again, I said that it's an important topic in the context of Buna and its setup, and also in the support of the G20. We are achieving that because, again, of the fact that we are using simple processes, but also because we are relying on standardization. So all what we are trying to do is as standardized as possible, from the message standard adoption to the technology to the different aspects. That combined with the 24/7, at least in terms of trend operating hours, are key facilitator of interoperability with other systems. So we have many initiatives, but today I'm here to focus on one in particular, which is our partnership with NPCI. So this is a partnership that makes absolute sense for different reasons. We have really a lot of common in terms of setup, in terms of vision, referring to the aim of streamlining cross-border settlement, referring to the aim of increasing financial inclusion. So this is a strong aspect that is in the DNA of the two organizations, the harmonization and the contribution to the G20. So we are very often, both of us, attending their sessions and providing the input for the whole groups. It also makes sense in terms of potential, because when we discuss with other regions or other countries, we speak sometimes about remittances, in other cases about trade. When it comes to India and the Arab regions, all use cases are applicable and all use cases are very meaningful. So in terms of corridor for remittance, it's one of the largest one that exists globally between the Arab region and India. When it comes to trade, it's very, very important, and it's getting even more important these days. And the same when it comes to hopefully digital commerce that is being developed further and further. And maybe I should also have included the investment that is getting stronger between the two countries. In terms of actor as well and potential of users, it's significant. So the number of banks on both sides is sizable. In terms of also final users, so when it comes to population, we are speaking about millions of people that could benefit from the development of efficient services for payment between the Arab region and India. And as well, I mean, I mentioned here the list of currencies. So we have 6 currently being offered in Buna. 2 international, the US dollar and the euro, in addition to 4 Arab currencies. Why not the Indian rupee as well in the near future to facilitate even further this partnership and making it even more efficient than what we plan at currently. So this is nice to have on paper. Maybe the question is how are we progressing? Where is Buna today? Buna is looking good, so we have started our operation end of 2020, and since then the growth has been constant. So you've seen 3 curves there on this slide. So the first one is about the currency, again 6 currencies. That was the priority of our first year of operation, so 2021, it was mainly focusing and having as objective to bring all meaningful currency in Buna, which is today mission achieved, because with the 6 that we have, we cover about 90 or even more % of the intra-Arab trades. And again, whenever we look to new partnership, we consider additional currencies as well. When it comes to the participant, I referred in the previous slide to more than 200 banks in the Arab region. We are in contact with all of them, and 80 of them are already participating in the system today. Actually, more than 80, because the figures move fast, so now we are closer to 90, and hopefully we'll exceed the 100 by the end of this year. So we are getting there also in terms of coverage. Our aim was to cover the whole region, and this is step by step being achieved. Finally, again, what is very important to us, it's the interoperability dimension, which is also growing fast, since we have demonstrated that we are delivering. So after including the currencies and starting to onboard some critical banks, we have demonstrated that we are reliable partners, and we started these type of discussions, again, in particular with NPCI. Yeah, maybe my last slide, just to reinforce the idea that we have also a strong ambition in terms of product roadmap. If I try to summarize, our vision is to provide a single window that covers different regions, multiple currencies, and all the meaningful existing and future product. So our first release was focusing on large value payment and RTGS services, but now we have also the instant payment available, and this is 24/7 real time. We are in the pilot phase today, and that should be very quickly followed by the PVP functions, again, to try to fertilize or to make maximum use of this multi-currency dimension to optimize even further the liquidity utilization within the system. This is ready, and it's being tested today, so the launch is expected by the end of the year, hopefully, if we manage to bring some of the participants up to speed. And that will continue over the upcoming years, to extend little by little to additional services. But again, payment system globally have a high potential, so payment is critical to many economic activities, and when you have the right setup, you can support a bunch of these activities, and when you have the right setup, you can also initiate different partnerships with, in particular, again, the one that we are proud of, which is our partnership with NPCI, and many thanks for the invitation again. Thank you. I don't know if the session is open to questions or not, but if that is the case, I will be happy to take a few questions, and if you still have time.
The digital gold savings platform. If I want to offer that to non-resident Indians overseas, is there any way that we can tie up with Buna on it? For the payment processing part of it.
So as I indicated, we are the current setup of Buna, we don't go up to the final user. So this is not a space that we invade currently. So for sure, there might be room for you, and this is why I wanted to create the awareness around Buna, to create the awareness around the potential, but it's not something that we are involving ourselves in today, so we cannot facilitate it directly.
Hello, hi. So these rails that you've created, are they only for banks, or can fintechs also use them?
So the participation in Buna currently is limited to licensed banks. Okay? So we don't have offer participation to non-banks. It's something that could be considered at a later stage, but again, the compliance dimension was key in the setup, and to provide maximum reassurance to the different regulators at the beginning, it was required to take it easy step by step in terms of participation criteria, and this is why we are limiting it to licensed banks for the time being. Once this confidence increases, we will be ready to consider extending the participation criteria.
Got it. Thank you.
Any further question? No? Then thank you very much. Just to give final reassurance that, one last question, sorry.
So what are your plans in the trade finance?
For the trade finance, we are at the initial stage of discussion now with a few partners, but we are in an exploration yet, so we don't have any concrete solution that we are developing at this stage, but we hope to have it not too far from now, let's say within a time frame of 2 to 3 years, we should have something. So we are more in partnership exploration now at this stage. We are much more ambitious when it comes to our partnership with NPCI, so we are working very actively, the two teams, to bring this service live as soon as possible, so hopefully early next year. Okay, thank you very much.
Just stay on stage for a minute, yeah. So thank you, Mehdi, for that insightful session. We have a memento that needs to be presented to you. So, from NPCI.
Shall I put this again?
Thank you so much. Yeah. So, thank you again, Mr. Mehdi, for speaking about how Buna is simplifying the process of cross-border payments by reducing costs, increasing speed, transparency, and access, and also how compliance is something that is at the center of your entire operation and your objectives, and how Buna is also creating more space for innovation. Nice points coming out there for all of us. Thank you for doing this with us. Our next session, before we go on to our next session, it's only appropriate that we thank our partners, WhatsApp, our theme partner, Amazon Pay, who is a co-powered partner, spend management partner, Encash, in association with Perfios, our payments partner, Cash Free Payments, and our CEO's dinner partner, HSBC. Thank you, partners, for making this happen for all of us. As we move forward, we now have a welcome address for Netherlands participation, and the address for this will be given by Mr. Bart de Jong, Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands. May I request him to come on stage, please, with a warm welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor for me to speak here. I think it's great to be here to see that for the first time in 3 years we are able to have a live event again. And I'm excited because the Netherlands is a partner country to this Fintech Fest 2022. Of course, in the last 3 years we've had basically virtual meetings. We met online all the time. And of course there's an advantage to that, but when I logged into the conference opening yesterday morning, I was looking at a black screen for 15 minutes. And so I think there's definitely an advantage of being able to meet live again. I'm also excited because we had our Queen, Her Majesty Maxima, speak this morning in a video message to the conference. And she did so in her capacity as a special advocate for inclusive finance for development as an advisor to the Secretary General of the United Nations. Now, the Netherlands is a relatively small country, but we have a very large economic footprint. We have a population of 18 million inhabitants, but nevertheless, we were the 5th largest investor in India in the fiscal year 2021. And FDI inflows were about 2.8 billion. And the other way around, in the same period, the Netherlands was the 3rd largest destination for overseas investment from India. That amounted to 1.2 billion. We at the moment have 300 Indian companies in the Netherlands, and a considerable part of them are startups. Startups also in the fintech field. Amsterdam is ranked as the 3rd best European city for startups, and the 3rd in venture capital funding in Europe. Now, when it comes to countries having an important and thriving fintech ecosystem, the Netherlands consistently ranks 2nd in Europe. We are strong in payments, e-commerce solutions, I should say, capital markets trading, and banking platforms. And Dutch fintech names that may ring a bell are Adyen, Bax, Molly, and Bank. Now, I always think the fintech world is fascinating. It's capable of not only improving and simplifying ways to conduct financial services, but also opens up a whole new array of possibilities in payments, transactions, asset management, and so forth. And besides, fintech also provides opportunities to emerging economies like India to leapfrog and to avoid the mistakes that we have made in the West in the traditional financial system that comes with inefficiencies. But with fintech also comes the risk of systems being hacked, misused, and of fraudulent transactions, with a loss of millions of dollars as a consequence sometimes. But as we've also experienced, especially in Rotterdam, these hacks can actually disrupt a complete economy at a very large scale. This session here this afternoon, and it's not only this session here now in the room, but it will continue virtually as well, that will concentrate on mitigating those cybersecurity risks through initiatives specifically aimed at fintech. In the Netherlands, we have a very strong cybersecurity ecosystem. We have established, the government has established a public-private partnership which is specifically aimed at digital security, and we call that the so-called Security Delta. That was established in 2013, and over 275 companies, governmental organizations, and knowledge institutions are working together in this consortium, in this Delta, I should say, to make a difference in securing our digitizing economy. Now, the focus of this Security Delta is primarily on cybersecurity and resilience, smart, secure societies, artificial intelligence, and intel. This Security Delta, these 275 companies, actually created a consortium, a smaller consortium of companies that is actively looking to integrate security business with India. And the goal is increasing the cyber resilience and cybersecurity of implemented digital systems, notably in fintech, of course, but both in India and the Netherlands, and from there worldwide. The objective is to further increase linkages between academia and researchers, and to foster businesses and market access for both Indian and Dutch companies. It gives me pleasure to share with you that in this conference we have 3 companies from this consortium that are participating in global fintech, and they are Eclectic IQ. Mr. Ujjwal Butcha, who is here in the room, will shortly give a presentation on what Eclectic IQ is doing in this area. And then we have 2 other companies, TMSPL, they will join us virtually at 15:35, and X-System, and they will give a presentation virtually also at 1600 hours. As I said, they will be speaking to you shortly, but they also have a booth at the exhibition, and I encourage you to visit that. I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak here, and I'm looking forward to interesting discussions today. Also looking forward to visiting the exhibition. I wish you a fruitful conference, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir, for that introduction. On the same topic of cybersecurity for fintechs, may I now welcome Ujjwal Busha, who's the product manager for Eclectic IQ, to share some light on this session for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get the remote? Okay, I've got the cue. All right, cybersecurity for fintechs. Loads of banks, loads of fintech companies over here. And here we are talking about your safety and security. So my name is Ujjwal. I'm a product manager for Eclectic IQ. And Eclectic IQ is a cybersecurity company which was founded in 2014. We've got offices all across the globe, especially in Europe, North America, and India. We're a 100+ employees company, and we have a range of cybersecurity products. And today, as I was telling you, financial sector. Now, why do attackers love this particular sector? For obvious reasons, right? One, they get huge amount of customer information, be it their bank account, be it their card details, be it their personal information, right? And other part is direct stealing of money. You've got loads in your bank, why don't the attackers come and go ahead and steal it, right? We've seen with Bitcoins being stolen right from the wallets. We've seen money disappearing from the banks. So that's one of the biggest motivations, again, for fintech industries to be more susceptible to the attackers. Also, indirect stealing of money. What do you mean by indirect stealing of money? Simple, ransomware. You go ahead, click a link, a virus gets downloaded, your screen gets locked, you need to pay a ransom so that you could be up and operational again. Indirect stealing of money. Creating disruptions. Creating disruptions basically mean that there are some nation states which want to bring your financial systems down. So they try to go ahead and create disruptions. How? By attacking the place where it hurts the most, which is financial sector. Now, as you can see here, I have various screenshots of attacks which have happened across different places in the financial sector, be it Capital One, where CEOs, CISOs have been fired because of data breaches, and you see another graph where it says that the fintech sector is the most attacked sector across the globe. Seeing another one like a group called Lazarus, which is a threat actor or an advanced persistent group whose focus is purely on fintechs, because it's easier to go ahead and try to hack them and get some details, get some money out of it, right? So these are some of the various examples. You've seen ATM skimming attacks. You've gone ahead and seen SWIFT systems being disrupted from all these various cybersecurity attacks, right? So this makes a huge impact on the financial. Now it's time for some myth busters, right? Do you feel you're secure, or do you feel your company is secure? Let's go ahead and think about that. Now, you may be a startup, you may be a mid-sized company, you may be an enterprise, you may be a government companies, right? Everybody gets swept when there is a cybersecurity attack, right? You may be thinking here, sitting in your head, probably not even bothered about cybersecurity, or thinking that, oh, we've got some basic security in place. We've got firewalls, we've got antiviruses, we've got proxy, right? What kind of a risk I'm in, right? I've got basic things in place, but no, my friend, you may be prone to some regulatory risk if you're not going to comply, right? Some of you may think that, oh, we don't need full-blown cybersecurity practice. You know, we're not there yet. You know, right now we're just building the company. We're just probably in Series A or Series B type, right? But imagine that one attack to your company, your chances of M&A, exit, valuation goes down the drain, right? Another great school of thought people think is, let's completely outsource cybersecurity. Is that good enough? In my opinion, nope. You have some crown jewel systems, which probably you should secure it with your own folks, right? Everything, if you're going to go ahead and outsource it, may not be good. Sometimes you may have a business continuity risk because of it, and some financial or brand risk. Now, another aspect is a lot of fintech companies are coming up, so they may feel that, who or why would anybody attack us? Like, we're just starting up, right? But trust me, it does not matter whether you're a 10-employee company, 50-employee company, or a 5,000-employee company. If there is an attack which is targeted to an industry, everybody gets swept on the way. So again, your M&A, your exit chances reduces. And final, and this I think I've heard mostly, we don't have budget for cybersecurity, or we have very less budget for cybersecurity. We spend it all in marketing or acquiring customers or product development probably, right? But again, trust me, a simple attack can ruin your brand before it even flies off. So you need to start thinking from a standpoint that does not matter what stage of company you're in, just try to feel secure with better practices. Now, which stage are you in, right? A lot of you would be having your own company, or you'd be working in a company where you'd want to know which stage of cyber preparedness are you in. Are you reactive or are you proactive? Obviously, logic goes that you be proactive and not be reactive. We've seen recent attacks on Uber, right? It was a very reactive approach, what happened. A single 18-year-old went ahead and got into all the systems of Uber, their G Suite, their Slack, everywhere. And people were just being reactive and trying to mitigate that risk. It pays to be proactive so that you never come to a situation like this. And that's the reality check, which is the other diagram over there, right? This graph tells you where you basically stand. Are you at the starting phase where you're just trying to secure, or you are in the anticipate phase where before you're even attacked, you kind of know what is going to happen and you mitigate everything. You need to be at that end of the graph, my friends. Now, you would be asking that, how do I become proactive, right? You've given the steps that, okay, I should no longer be the person who, if being attacked, the company is being attacked, I go ahead and I do a quick remediation. No, you need to be proactive. And what are the steps which takes you to being proactive is stop being product and vendor reliant, right? We're not gods to go ahead and give you a solution which is going to solve everything. As manpower, as an investment, also you need to put in there, right? You need to start gathering intelligence. You need to start analyzing the intels which come from various sources. For fintech folks, for banking folks, you have financial sector, ISAC, you've got SWIFT, you've got RBIs, you've got certs, various places from where you're getting intel. Now start using that intel, start analyzing it, and start trying to draw meaningful insights out of it. Learn from various attacks which have happened in the past. Start observing what these groups who attack these fintech companies or these banking companies, right? What do they do? What is their modus operandi, right? Start preparing an action plan before they can even strike you. And there is where you will achieve the most proactiveness. You need to start building your CTI practices. You need to detect things very early, and you need to have immediate response for all of that. Now, afterthoughts. You may think probably cybersecurity is like a term insurance, like, I don't, when you're young, like I remember a few years back when I was supposed to take insurance, I was like, yeah, I'm young, I don't need to take it seriously. What's going to happen to me? I'm invulnerable, right? I used to think like, there's a pinch of my salary which is going ahead if I do a term insurance, right? I don't see any returns out of it. I don't feel like I should be doing it, but it's a part of my responsibility and hence I'm doing it, right? So that's the wrong thought. you need to start thinking of cybersecurity as an investment. It's like, I'm investing for my health. I go for walks daily, I eat healthy food, I do exercises regularly. Similarly, cybersecurity, right? You don't take it for granted. You start working towards continuous improvements. You don't need to be in the nirvana stage on day one. You start slow, you start small, but then you keep on continually investing it. You try to invest just like in your health. You start doing like 10 reps. You start putting in some amount of your manpower as well as your budget for cybersecurity practices. And eventually, one fine day, you will get there where you would want to be being proactive. You may not see an ROI today, just like with your health, right? You don't see an ROI immediately on day one when you hit the gym. It's only eventual when you start seeing it. And that's what is going to happen with cybersecurity also. You will not see the results on day one, but then eventually you will. Now with that, Eclectic IQ, us as a company, we believe in intelligence at the core. We have various platforms for threat intel. We've got endpoint, we support myriads of use cases, right? So we truly are intelligence at the core company, and we help you be more proactive in your cybersecurity approach. Now, if in case you are looking for some demo, please visit us at booth A17 to see some of our products live in action, and reach out to us, we're here. Any questions before I wind up? If not, then I wish all of you bon appetit. Have a great lunch. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Ujjwal, for busting some of the myths in this space. Thank you for doing this with us. As we move on to the next session, which is a panel discussion. Before doing that, a big thank you to some of our partners. Thank you to our communications partner, Kalera, our banking partner, Standard Chartered Bank, our diamond partners, PayU, AWS, Kia AI, Infrasoft, Paytm, and our networking partner, Buddy Loan.